Hey, this is Jaime with Echo Real Estate Advisors. Welcome to the channel that provides actionable content to help your business grow. Don't forget to subscribe, as every month I give away one of my Facebook, YouTube, and Google courses away for free as a thank you for being a subscriber. Today we revisit a old-time classic, or at least for me. Today we're covering Remine, and we're gonna log in and do a general overview. If you're looking for specific, actionable information, yes, I will provide a good amount of that in this video, but for a more comprehensive 4-hour training on Remine, I'm gonna invite you to check out the link in the description, which I've already produced a Remine course. And the beauty of it is, it's free, absolutely free. No point, there's no trial, there's no dollar opt-in, there's nothing. So if you're looking for Remine and really understanding what it can do for you and how to actually do that, I'm gonna invite you to check it out. But for the purposes of this video, enough things have changed in the Remine interface that I felt the need to create this video for you. Last time that I covered Remine, I think was when they did their CMA. Yeah, so I think when they unveiled their CMA instrument or tool for the public or for us agents, and I did a review on it. Full disclosure, I am still not using that resource. Remine, you have the capability of integrating it with Cloud CMA and also Remine, and provide each one of them provide its own CMA, but full disclosure, I'm still not using either one of those. I am still using RPR for personal preference. If you are using Remine though, for a CMA perspective or purpose, please let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to get your feedback, because as of right now, I still have not integrated it into my workflow. Let's dig in. All right, so with Remine, as it's loading up, you're gonna see that the interface has changed dramatically. If it's been a while since you've logged in, then a lot of this is gonna look foreign to you. You're gonna see that this is acting like a full-fledged dashboard. So it appears that what they're doing is keeping you on the platform a little while longer. It's pushing a lot of the information that you typically see with your, well, for me it's Matrix, but for your MLS, Market Watch and all that fun stuff, you see it be pushed over here. So know that these are commonly referred to as cards, and let's see what they call them. There you go, got that one right. Add a new card, so you can add anything that you want there, whether there's an Engage tab, there's a Market Pulse, new listing, property notifications, Twitter, and saved searches. Okay, in Discover, what you're gonna see is at the top, you're gonna find property characteristics. So the size of the property, the amount of beds in the property, and list prices. So anything that has to do with the property, you're gonna find up here. And one of the questions that I get is, well, why is that important to me? I understood that Remine was a tool to let me know, property values, home equities, if the owner is living in the home, or if their owner absentee. Well, the reason that I like to call this out, and you'll see this in the Remine course, the two-story strategy. So what I like to do is I like to separate only those properties that are 2 stories. The reason that I do that is when I filter by 2 stories, I would put minimum here, and it's only gonna show me 2 stories. What I do at that point is I track them. When I track a property, it's gonna show here, and then also you're gonna find they'll be reflected on my tracking properties. Once I go and create a full database, effectively is what I'm doing, I'm able to pull those out of Remine and then upload that as a custom audience to Facebook and run ads specifically to those 2-story households. Now you may be wondering, why would I want to do that? Well, if you have lived in a 2-story home, you may not like living in a 2-story home after a while. I myself had a 2-story home, and in my next purchase, that was my one requirement. I do not want a 2-story home. Now, depending on your, how you feel about things, or depending on your age, depending on your preferences, that is something that I just feel that a lot of people change. A lot of people change their mindset on 2-story homes, especially when you're advanced in age and you may have some knee problems. I'm not trying to generalize, but yeah, that is a generalization. And well, actually, I have knee problems too. I've had 2 knee surgeries, so it's not only for older people, but just it's that methodology that I'm using, and really trying different ways to market to people. So once I have that in Facebook, I'm able to run marketing campaigns that are for single-story homes. So that's just one example. Again, a lot of it is more in the course that it will be linked in the description below that you can check out. Up here is the property information. You track them, and we'll get to the track feature here in a bit. But on the left-hand side is where you find a lot of the functionality with Remine. You see the tracking, which we just saw, would only show you those properties that you're tracking. Property value, you can market only those properties that are above $500,000 or in between this range, wherever your sweet spot is. That's what you can do. You can target those that have a certain amount of equity. So you can overlay those 2 filters based off of, let's just say you're only targeting those homes that have $500,000, that are valued at $500,000, and you only want those people that have at least $250,000 in equity. So from the bottom end, 50% and up, if you will. So you can overlay those filters. Ownership time, the amount of time they lived in the home, a sales score. So a sales score is the algorithm, Remine's algorithm, where they take a lot of information. They take property information, they take consumer information, they take behavioral information from everywhere. They take all these data points and provide to you a fancy sales score. Now, if you have a property that is it's labeled as a high sales score, that means that there is a high likelihood that this property is going to sell within 12 months. Now, if the property is labeled a medium sales score, that property is likely to sell within 12 to 24 months. Anything beyond 24 months is on the low sales score. Now, does this mean that a low sales score can't go up for sale ever? No, it doesn't mean that at all. Now, there are cases where I have had success in marketing to everybody, and some of those leads end up being low sales score. Some end up being high, medium sales score, and a good amount come back to me as high sales scores altogether. So for me, I like exploring from different filters, not just solely relying on the sales score. A lot of people swear by the sales score, and that's all they use in their marketing, but I'm not one of those people. Just full disclosure there. Then you have the absentee, those owner occupants, or those that are absentee in state, or those that are owners that are absentee out of state. Properties in the flood zone, if there's low risk or high risk. Building type, multifamily, townhouse, single family. Land use, residential, commercial, industrial, farm, public, entertainment, utility. Airbnb, those properties that are presently being Airbnb'd out and their rate. Mortgage rate, the amount of the percentage that they're paying on their mortgage, which is super valuable. So if you want to separate those people that are paying 6 and above, it'll leave you only those that are paying 6 and above. So it's pretty powerful. Mortgage age, how long they've had their mortgage. So this comes into play, and you filter in those people that have refinanced even though they've lived in their home for, let's say, 15 years. So if you would have just run the filter that says 15 years since they've owned it and not applied a mortgage age, they could have very well refinanced and they don't have the equity that you thought they did. And then we go to the last sales price, so when they last sold. distressed deals, when they receive notices, and notices of default, notices of foreclosure. And then the cash deals. The cash deals, how they're identified is if Remine cannot pick up a mortgage within, I want to say 48 hours since the recorded sale. So if there's not a mortgage that they pick up within 48 hours of the sale, then they deem it a cash purchase. Now, don't quote me on the exact time between sale and when they check to see if it's a cash purchase. So just know that there is an element of that, and that's how they, for all intents and purposes, that's how they do that. And as you can tell up here, we're building a filter list, which once you scroll out, you won't be able to see the buttons. Well, there you go. Yeah, you will. And you can continue tracking only those properties and building up a database of properties that you're gonna want to engage in some capacity, whether you want to send them direct mail, or send them emails, or cold call them, or market to them on Facebook, which is what I do. That's why I don't necessarily track these to leave them tracked. I track them to pull the information, upload them into Facebook, and start marketing. And then track are all those properties that are presently being tracked. So I can reset those, which I should reset those. It's kind of going a little bit slow on me, but you'll have all of the information down here of the properties that you are tracking. And once this uploads, you'll be able to print mailing labels if you want to send them mailers. And here you're gonna have to use an Avery label, just know that. And you get to select whether you want to send it to the property or to the mailing address, depending on if they're living in the property or owner absentee, which will go with the name, as you can see there. And a recent feature, several months old actually, is being able to send mailers directly. So when you click here, it's gonna say, continuing will redirect you to a third-party site. So it's gonna send you to a third party, but you're gonna be able to design, print, and send things off right off the bat. I don't know what I pressed. There we go. So that's on the tracking feature. Dependent on your budget, dependent on what you're trying to achieve, that could be a solution for you. If you're a heavy direct mailer and don't wanna do it yourself, there is a fully integrated option for you to send directly from here and not have to worry about it, not have to write or print or do anything like that. All you have to do is just send it and you're off and running. Now, Engage is based off of Client Engage. Now, if I remember, I will probably blur all of this out if I remember. I'm notorious for saying that I'm gonna blur something out and then I watch my replays and I don't. So if I did my homework today, I will have blurred all of this out as protection for my clients. So we have Client Engage, which this is the front-facing side of Remine. The front-facing side of Remine, meaning the people that can log in and create an account to have access to the MLS, to have access through your portal access, so they can log in and check out the properties. They can log in and see a lot of the same things that you're able to see from this end, they are able to see. There's a few things that they are not able to see, like the owner's information, as an example, a select amount of mortgage information they're not able to see, and some other quirks here and there. So from a client engaged aspect, it is beneficial to your clients because they can do their searches there. You're able to see and what they're tracking, you're able to see what they're sharing, you're able to see the saved searches that they have, and have a bit more control or have a bit more insight as to what your consumer is doing, what your client is doing, which is pretty neat. And then on the chat feature, you can have direct conversations with your people, which again, I should probably blur all this out. And then on the contacts are the contacts that you save on Remine or that you uploaded to Remine. For me, I have not uploaded my contacts to Remine. I have just selected people on the platform that I have found through Remine, and I just save them. So that's what this one too I need to blur out. But you can certainly upload all of your contacts and have a one centralized database, if you will, or one centralized dashboard that you can work from. And then down here is just more account information, alerts when your downloads are done, support to reach out to the team. And that's Remine. Remine has gone a long way from the visual aspect. It was already pretty sweet, but now they're adding modules, adding cards, adding integrations, adding a lot of different things that are making it more compelling to use this as your command center. Use this as a place where you need to log in every single day to do business from. So you should probably check them out. And as my typical disclosure, I am not making money from this. This is not a affiliate link or anything like that. This is just providing an update on Remine. And let me know what your feedback is. If you've tried Remine in the past, or if you're trying Remine right now, if this is the first time that you are being exposed to Remine, let me know. And if there's any interest, please click on the link in the description below and go through the free Remine course, because I do think it's pretty valuable.